This is Rhea, and this is Just the Who of Us, where we talk about a range of topics, including life events, current events, spirituality, entertainment, family relationships, as well as answering listener questions and more.
All right. So, today with us, we have my eldest son's father, Frederick Mencken. A lot of you probably know of Fred, unless you're his family or my family. Outside of that, you probably only know him from the negative things that I've said. If you don't know him personally, you know him through me. And yeah. So Fred is here today to talk about the past 23, 24 years of being a parent, being a absent parent, being a present parent, going through these different motions. I'm just going to put it out there. Most of you know, if you know either one of us personally, you know, we haven't always had the best relationship. And today's, it's going to be a little emotional. It's a little emotional for me. And I'm not even in the place that I used to be of this kind of angry state. We'll get to this kind of path in a little bit, but I think today was a good point to do this interview, because had you come to me 5 years ago, a year ago, and said, hey, I want to talk about this, I probably would have been like, you know, there's no way. But I'm glad you did, and here we are. My point here is to talk about things, work through things as much as we, you know, can in one conversation. But put your story out there, put my story out there. People who know me, a lot of people who listen to this probably already know my side of the story, but as we know, there's two sides. And that's kind of what we're here to do. If you know my story, you're here to hear his also, to hear us talk it out. We're not going to fight. We're past all that, but it'll be emotional. So thank you for watching or listening if you're listening. And let's go. So Fred, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have you listened to the podcast? Tell me kind of what kind of brought you to here where you were like, hey, I want to talk about this on your podcast.
Well, I haven't really heard the podcast. I've been still going through my grieving moment with my mom getting killed. It's been 2 months now, so it's really kind of hard. So I felt like that at this point in my life, that everything should come out. I think that everyone should know, like, what happened back then, 23 years ago or 24 years ago. And I mean, I'm ready to come up clean. No lies, nothing like that. You know, just put that out there on the table.
Yeah, 24 years ago. So I have ADHD, my memory's shit. There are things in life that I don't remember. Sometimes my reference of time is off. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you have a better memory of certain things, correct me if I'm wrong. So about 24 years ago, maybe a little bit before, we met on a chat line.
Right.
We meet on this chat line. I was 13 at the time, 14.
Yeah, 13 going on 14, I believe.
And you were how old?
20.
20. So we meet on this chat. I lied about my age to make myself older, obviously, because I was an idiot and, whatever the case may be. So that's one thing too that people in my world defend me in that case. We'll get a little more in depth, but anyway, so I'm 13. We're on this chat. You're 20. I said I think I said I was like 18. How old
Yeah.
did you say that you were?
I said at my age at the time, I was, about 20, 19, 20.
So my time of reference. So I'm 13, 14 on this chat where I had no business being. We're chatting. We decide to meet at the movie theater, I think.
Yeah, we met at AMC.
So we meet at the movie theater, right? So this is my perspective, and I want to get your perspective too, because that's why we're here, to get both parties. So we meet at this movie theater. You want to take the story from there?
Yeah, we agreed to meet at the movie theater on Friday night, and you had one of your good friends with you at the moment, and we were going to watch a movie. But funny thing was, I had worked then after I got fired or whatever, so they said I could come in there and stuff. So I was like, what in the world? So we didn't really get to hang out at that time or whatever. Like much. We got to talk here and there, but you was a lot shy, and I was shy at the time too, because it was our first time meeting in person.
Yeah. So we meet on this chat line. I'm 13, you're 20, and I initially did lie about my age. How old did I say I was? Did I say I was 18?
Yeah, you say you was 18.
Because you had to be 18 to be on the chat. So one of the things that, I polled these questions on Facebook. One of the things that people wanted to know was, what made you pursue a younger girl? So initially on this chat meeting, I say that I'm older. My defense kind of to you has always been, well, I lied about my age. I said that I was older. Everyone in my corner's response is always like, but once he met this 13-year-old and he could tell that she was a kid and not an 18-year-old, why keep going? So I want to hear that from you. From your perspective, once we met, things start coming out, that I'm not this old, I'm really this age, and whatnot. Why? Like, why stay around? Why continue to pursue this person that's much younger?
Well, it's not like how R. Kelly and Aaliyah, rest her soul, thing or whatever. Like we talk, and was this going on for months, and then I believe, I don't know how, but your mom ended up telling me your real age. So, and that was over the phone. And it took me a while to process it. And I was like, well, when I saw you at the movie theater, I didn't, I kind of figured you was that age, whatever. I mean, you was same height as I was at the time, Ben. And I mean, we looked young back then. It was what, 99, 98. So I was like, okay. Then I don't know. I was like, okay, let me see where it would go from there and stuff with us having a big age thing, because you was still maturing and I was still maturing also at the time. But I was also alone too. I mean, I had family and stuff, but I was just still alone. Needed that love and that person and stuff, just to be there. So you always kept you're very comfort, very laid back and chill. So I just wanted to just stick around and go from there or whatever.
So, excuse me. So finding out at the point that you found out about my real age, had we yet been physically intimate?
I know I asked you, I think a couple times, have you had intercourse, and I believe you said no at the time. I'm not quite sure about that. And I mean, we wasn't constantly, talking about it because it wasn't brought up a lot. So we had agreed to make plans to come over to your house, and one thing led to another, and we had intercourse.
So, so I guess the question, and I think the question that people have or will have, so once you find out the age, you find out this person is this much younger, and then still decide to pursue a sexual relationship. Why? That's what people are asking. That's what people are gonna ask. Why still pursue that?
It didn't cross my mind. I didn't think nothing about it because you was, like I said before, you was mature. I probably should have thought about it a little bit more with 7 year age difference. And like I said, you was just starting high school or about to start high school at the moment. And I don't know, I at the time my vibe was really good and stuff. So
So I in this regard, through the years, I've tried to make sure to take my accountability, right? Because no one, I mean, I would lose my shit if one of my 13, 14-year-old daughters was sexually active. Like, it's not acceptable to me. And no offense to my mom, not to take anything away from her parenting or anything like that, obviously. But I take accountability for that because no 13, 14-year-old has any business being sexually active. A lot of people have said to me, however, you have this 20-year-old man pursuing you. And when you're that much older to essentially influence a teenager, a teenage girl to become sexually active with you, a lot of people put that on the older person. I try to defend that. I've tried to defend it over the years just because, we have a child together. I wouldn't go back in time and take that child away. But it is something that most people address to me. Part of our purpose for being here today is to tell the story, to tell your side of the story. And also I've been trying to work over the years on my personal growth, on taking accountability for my own stuff. But I do have to say that if my 14-year-old daughter came to me and was like, yeah, I'm sexually active with a 20-year-old man, I blame him. I do give you recognition for taking accountability. I'm a little hot right now. The conversation, this is, what I was saying earlier. It's an emotional, I don't know if you can see, it's an emotional conversation. But yeah, accountability. You are taking accountability. I was in bed last night and I'm just thinking about different things with my own father, with my, the kids' fathers, and nothing about this conversation is going to change the past. I got really emotional last night, just that, like about the fact that like it's been 23 years and not one thing about the past can be changed. It's painful. But there's also been some mental health things for you involved. And I can imagine that, and I know that you've acknowledged the things that you've done, your absences and your mistakes, I imagine are painful for you too. I don't want to take away from the mistakes that were made, but I also do want to commend you for taking accountability and for being willing to sit in the hot seat and know, this person who, because I'm still angry. I'm going to be honest, I'm still angry about a lot of things, but my anger doesn't change anything. So I appreciate you being here to be in the hot seat and answer these tough questions. And we just got started. So I knew this conversation was going to be kind of emotional for me. And I am kind of all over the place. Like, I spent a lot of time being angry, right? Like, there was a point where I was angry. I didn't even talk to you. I would maybe talk to Christina. You kind of like stopped talking to me because every time we had a conversation, it was me bitching and being angry. And so you were like, okay, you can just talk to her because I don't want to deal with it. And to kind of be at the point now where like we're sitting down and we're having this conversation. It's really great. So I am still angry about a lot of stuff, but I'm trying not to be. And I think talking about this is
The
really
thing
helpful.
is with grieving, anger, and emotional feelings don't have no limitation.
Yeah.
It don't take, it don't happen overnight. It don't happen months, years. It takes a while. And
Yeah.
sometimes, you can take it to the grave and stuff and not forgiving somebody.
Yeah.
I understand and I respect that.
Yeah. So I mentioned that I was laying in my bed last night and I'm thinking, this is just full transparency here. So I'm laying in my bed last night and I'm like, I had kids with 3 different men. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong that shit just doesn't go the way that I thought it would? You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just you, obviously, because I have kids with more than one person, but I'm like I'm the common denominator here. I can't get people to do over the years. I can't just get people to do like what the fuck I feel like they're supposed to do. Maybe is it my expectations? My father wasn't like active in my life since I was little. So do I have these expectations of like they're too high because I don't really know what the expectations should be? I don't know. Like I said, that's it, it wasn't even really like specific to you, but I was just like sometimes it's kind of like what the fuck is wrong with me that I just
No, you can't do that because look, I can relate to that because I have the same thing as you. I have 3 kids, but 3, you and 2 others. And it's like, well, dang, I didn't want it to be like that. I just wanted to have kids by one person and grow the family and everything. My dad's stationed in Charlotte, not too far from me and stuff, whatever. And I barely, barely see him, barely hear from him. I even try to reach out to him and text, and sometimes it'll go. to my older brother, and he'll relate something else to me and whatever. So I'm like, well, dang, But my mom, she always been there and she's always support me and stuff or whatever, good or bad. She'll give me a handful. But I don't think you did anything wrong. I mean, things happen. We're not perfect. We're not made to be perfect. I mean, we try our best every single day to be perfect, especially for our kids and stuff. We not gonna be perfect. Now, kids, the ones that do love you and love us, they understand. They see things or whatever stuff, and hopefully they can relate with that and carry on with their life whenever you cross over. So
Yeah. It's just that, time passes and it's this realization of really how you just can't go back and change the past. It makes it kind of more apparent of how important it is to navigate and grow in your current and your future. You know, I, I've seen that with you specifically. I don't know the ins and outs of your relationships with the other kids, but I do know that since this big thing happened with your own household, which we'll briefly touch on, um, I've seen this consistency in you of trying to reconcile and do things differently to cater to these relationships with your kids. The kids aren't kids anymore, but it's like, okay, the past is the past and I can't change that, but I'm going to try to make sure that I'm here in the present and in the future, which I think is really important because, I also thought about the fact that, like my father's not here. Same with your mom. You guys had a good relationship, luckily, so there wasn't, and there may have been, but there wasn't any apparent like unresolved issues. You know what I mean? Like my father is gone and there's no reconciling that relationship. It's just it's gone. So I am glad that DeAndre doesn't have to go through that now that that you're present and giving the opportunity to not end on a bad note. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, I try my best. I try to reach out. I got five. Three stays here with me, and Dee's up there with you, and Gabby stays 3 hours away. So I'm constantly trying my best. I still have things I have to take care of, like especially with this going on, my grieving moment and stuff. So I make time for the teens and adults. That's my main priority of my life right now is them. And then under that, everything has to come together.
Yeah.
It was a year and a half ago that I got diagnosed with depression or whatever. But to be honest with you, I think something traumatic happened to me at a younger age, and I never got the help for it.
Mm,
That's why I always felt alone growing up. Like it was just me and stuff. But yeah, I had my older brother, I had my mom, I had my stepdad, and then my little brother came along, but I was still doing things on my own. So I mean, those nights I was just in my room, just chilling, or I just want to be alone or whatever. I didn't want to deal with nobody, and just chill. But
yeah.
yeah, I've been through the depression for a good little while, and I try to, I guess, cover it up, doing fun things, doing things not in my mind or whatever, not even trying to think about anything. So,
Yeah.
but now I'm getting help for it.
One of the questions that I was asked um after what made you pursue a younger girl? What made you decide after this young girl becomes pregnant? What made you decide that you didn't want to be an active father? Was it something you decided, or it just happened for this or that reason? What was the reason that once you became a father with our child, that you at some point decided to step away from that?
Well, at the time I was working, and then I finally got on at FedEx, and um, I know almost every day after work I was coming out to see you with DeAndre, and we was talking about the financial part of taking care of him, and we agreed on a payment. I can't remember how much it was or whatever, and then I think I think
meet on the chat line.
um
I'm sorry, can you say that last part again? Because I accidentally muted it.
no, you good. I can't remember what I said. But just
So you were working at FedEx, you were working every day, and you would typically come by after to see us, and then
yeah. Then I came after that. I can't remember, but I think I had those couple of hours, and I think I ended up quitting FedEx, so I didn't have the money or whatever, and we had went to court for child support, and it was actually more than what we had agreed on. And I remember us just throwing out the door because I was so upset at the judge and stuff. I was upset that y'all was upset at the judge because I felt like the judge was being an asshole at the time. And yeah, I think y'all have said like, only way I better see DeAndre if I do my payments and stuff, and I didn't have the job or had any funds or whatever, so I didn't go around or even attempt to call or whatever unless I had any funds or anything to help out, like diapers, milk, or anything at the time. So it was stupid on me that just not to reach out or even attempt to say, hey, I'm checking on him or checking on y'all and see how y'all doing and stuff.
so it became this kind of like, I think that's what the frustration was for me. And it lasted over the years. Well, if I can't do this, then I'm just gonna stay away, right? And in retrospect, there's certain things that I would have done differently. There's things that I did with my ex-husband financially that I think worked better and would have worked better. Child support's a whole nother conversation because it's whatever. But that was definitely a thing. Well, if I can't do this, I'm just gonna stay away. And that was my frustration for a long time, was like, just be present. Like, yes, I expect you to get a job, to take care of the things that your child needs, because that's an equal responsibility. But being present is also a huge part of being a parent. And that's something that frustrated me a lot for a long time. I spent a lot of time probably hindering that relationship because there was a period where I only really reached out to you to like bitch, you know. And I felt like I was in the right at the time because I was like, well, you're not here. So like, what are you doing? Like, you need to know how I feel and I'm gonna tell you. And then it just creates this cycle of, well, I don't want to come around if all you're gonna do is be angry. And then me, this cycle of then I'm angry because you're not here, and then you're angry because I'm upset, and whatever, and it causes this kind of ripple in the parenting to where both people are mad, and then absolutely nothing is resolved because everybody's just angry. I feel like you should do this, you feel like I should do this or not do this and whatever. And that's part of the issue when you become a parent so young too. Like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And I know, older people becoming parents, they don't know what they're doing a lot of times too, but having a kid when you're still a kid, or having a kid with someone who's still a kid, it's just not it, it's kind of a setup for unsuccess. um I don't recommend it. So if you're a kid thinking about having sex, I don't recommend it. I wouldn't take my son back, obviously, but anyway, it's just one of those things. There was this cycle. So the cycle, well, if I can't do this, so I'm gonna stay away. Well, you should still be present. We go back and forth and back and forth. And then time passes to where nothing happens. And who gets hurt? The kid. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with him as a kid. He was probably about 3 or 4 years old when we really stopped talking. There wasn't much communication. I didn't bring him over much anymore. I think it was about 3 to 4 years old.
Yeah. Um, I think I think I went into depression. With this, it always crossed my mind. I mean, because I have like a picture and I just look and I just sometimes I bust out just crying and stuff. Um, I have family like, don't you have a son? When you haven't seen him? And, well, it's like, no, I don't want to do all that. I just want to see my son or whatever. But it hurt. Uh, it still hurts to this day. Seeing, I mean, going over there picking him up a couple years ago, and I seen, his baby pictures and pictures, but he was just, a couple age here and there that I wasn't there, and I had my head down because I should have been there. I mean, my dad wasn't there, and I always say I want to do better than what my dad did, and I felt like I let D down, felt like I let you down. Um, that's one of the most important things in my life. I wish I could have turned around, that being a full dad to D than just oh, pop up here and there, or years later here and there. And no, I should have been there. I mean, it's regardless of how we felt about each other, it was more about him. Our feelings should have been pushed aside, and then let's based everything on him and stuff,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't discuss it, and you're right. Like I didn't want to hear no fuss, no bitching, or nothing. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stay away, even though it hurts me and stuff or whatever. But the time that I did have him was just like I had him on the weekends sometime, and like my whole weekend was like to the time I got up to the time we went to bed, just spending time with him, taking him around family and stuff, and showing everybody.
So it it becomes this kind of ego contest, right? Like our parenting becomes kind of put on the back burner, and our ego comes forefront, and that's what makes us make the decisions. Um, I have this question. Really, there's two other people that I have this question for, but you're the one here, so you're the one that gets to answer the question. And quite frankly, time heals things. I'm not as angry about it because of the fact that I can't change it. But it's still something that I harbor anger for, right? Because it is what it is. You know, what is it that says, okay, well, I have these kids and it's kind of okay to just put them on the back burner. I have these kids, but then I have this going on in my life. I'm this, whatever. Like moms, okay, not necessarily moms. Active parents don't get to do this. We don't get to just, oh, you know what? I got stuff going on in life. I'm just gonna I'm gonna take a step back and I don't feel like being here. I don't feel like doing this, whatever. Like why? What makes that a thing? To be just like, I have other things going on in life. It's okay to take time away to do this. Like the active parents, we don't get that. I have to be a parent every single day for the past 23 years, every single day, whether I'm depressed, whether I'm tired, whether I don't have a car. I mean, there was a point where I didn't have a car. Still had to get shit done every single day. What is that? Like what makes that a thing? To just is it because the kid doesn't live in the house with you, or what is that? And like I said, this isn't it's not a personal attack at you, but you're the one here, so you're the one that gets to answer the question. What is it that the inactive parent gets to say, okay, well, I've got this going on, it'll be fine, they'll be fine, or whatever the thought process is.
I mean, it's not fine or whatever, and it wasn't like I was putting on what's the name back burner. I mean, I can just just sit at the house and and think and just let it all suck up or whatever. I had to keep moving around and stuff, but unfortunately, I ended up just finding someone else, and then dating here and there, and then having another child, and another child did this, and it was I don't know. Like I said, it's not right. And like I said before, I should have been there. I mean, he's always number one. He's still gonna be number one. He's my first. I
But
think at the time being that I was alone, and I wanted somebody. What's the name? So he came around.
but people say that though, and well, this happened, and I wasn't there, but this kid was still number one. But how is that the case if that kid isn't made a priority? How is that kid still number one if they aren't a factor in your daily life?
It was. I mean, I know y'all struggle, and I had somewhere stable to stay, but I didn't have a job at the time for a good little while and stuff, and a lot of things built up and stuff, and me being selfish, I didn't want to be around anybody. And just stay to myself, and that's it. I mean, Steve or Mike used to come by, or I used to go over their house and stuff just to get out. But back then, I didn't really have no true friends. Just hey, let's go to here, let's go there and stuff.